Thoughts are rising, vision blurring, rage taking over.
Here's Paul Calvisi.
I'm ready. I'm 100% ready. I'm telling you I'm ready.
And Ron Wolfley.
It doesn't get any better than that.
Unleash the fury!
So we've got an RV show going on here outside Flanker Kitchen and Sports Bar on the Great Lawn at State Farm Stadium. Wolf, back in the day, didn't you mess up all the hookups and you had that one Blackwater disaster you never want to talk about?
No, I didn't, Paulie, but, Paul, that there's an RV.
You want a road trip, let's pack up that there RV and head for H-Town and leave that top-ranked D with an L. They haven't gone against the NFL's two leading pass catchers since Week 11, Mr. McBride and Mr. Wilson. Come on now. And yes, I am sort of maximizing this intro because it'll probably be the only words I get in the entire show. We have more than 2 decades of playing experience, more than 2 decades of broadcasting experience, and it is putting the big into the Big Red Rage presented by Emergency Air. We are the original Thursday Night Football. Paul Calvisi, Ron Wolfley. And Wolf, I feel like you should pass the torch and or the baton right now. Would you like,
Paulie.
Would you like to introduce?
I would like to say we're introducing A.Q. Shipley to tonight's Big Rage.
Hello. Harumph.
Yes, that's right. Big Red Rage. How
So
you doing?
good to be with you boys. Always.
Q, you know what? What did your teammates call you? Did they call you Ship? Did they call you Q? What did they call you?
It was Ship. It was Q. It was Q ball. There was a million different things, but it always came back to somewhere in Q.
Did you have a preference though?
I think Ship. I think was
Okay,
good.
yeah, because
Ended up creating my gym that I currently train guys out of called the Shipyard now. So Ship is the moniker.
Oh, that's a double
okay,
ding.
yeah, I like
That's
that.
good.
You
Yeah,
know, typically you would tell guys, "Hey, call me this," and they'd call you anything but
That's
that.
right.
You know what I mean?
How many of your former teammates did you fight, by the way? Just because that's the other. We 20 years with Wolf on the road. When Passion
It was a different era, Paul.
Wolf would run into someone he either played with or against. It didn't matter. And after he's done dapping him up, Dave would always ask him later, now, did you fight that guy?
Yeah, that was an interesting thing. I think mine was the last era where fighting was still kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Now the game's getting a little soft nowadays, right, Wolf?
I honestly, I just want to talk about that momentarily right now. I still can't even believe that. How does a locker room not just attack each other after practice in the locker room if you're not having it out on the field?
That's exactly
right. I'm just saying, I don't get it, man.
Well, it's a different brand of practice these days because of the NFLPA and all the rules. We get all that, but okay, all right.
You don't want to get me and Wolf talking
No,
about
Yeah,
that.
that's right.
no,
Yeah, that's
Because
not
we
good.
believe in the old ways.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. You're back from Indy and the McAfee show. So how is this season going for you, by the way? And for those who don't know, Ron Wolfley, 20 years as the Cardinals radio analyst. And it was some big shoes to fill effective this year. A.Q. Shipley hired, and Wolf, he retired on us. He didn't get my authorization. I mean, how selfish it was of Wolf to go ahead and retire, but he did, and he's happy, and we're happy for him. How's it been going so far for you, Ship?
It's going good. Wolf's the best. I mean, I loved listening to him when I played. I loved listening to him all the way up, and then it was good to pick his brain as this whole thing kind of
Chip.
came about. As we came through training camp, I remember meeting up with him and just kind of asking a few questions. There's no recreating of the voice. There was no chance of that, so I wasn't even going to try that. But I just try and give my perspective, and Wolf kind of talked about it before, just give my perspective as if I was playing center, what I saw. I'm trying to do that from the booth.
It's incredible. Paulie, we were talking about this before we started broadcasting, but the thought of Ship over the pigskin, as playing center, looking at the front. That's exactly what he's doing right now from the booth. He's doing the exact same thing and then calling out what actually happened when he'd be calling out protections, calling out plays, and how they were going to block a scheme. I mean, I just think it's a natural fit for what you've done your whole life.
No, I appreciate that. And it is. I mean, I think the interesting thing is, Dave's obviously doing all the stuff right? So Dave does a phenomenal job, and there's so many times where I see it, I'm like, oh, I know what blitz is coming. I know what's coming. I want to say it so bad. But, I let Dave do his thing and then just kind of come in on the after effect because Dave is the best in the business.
That's so good, Chip, that you're like that. You know what? Because he is. David is unbelievable.
He really is.
Oh, come on.
Oh, my goodness, the best broadcaster that I've ever been around.
No question.
Yep, top 5 play-by-play announcer
Oh,
on the
my
planet.
goodness.
Period. Wolf, did you give him any free advice? Like, what sort of advice did you give him? Do you remember way
The
back in
only
August?
thing I told Ship, the only thing I said to Ship is don't step on Dave.
That's exactly what he said.
Give him room.
Yep.
Give him room because he's really, really good at what he does. Let him breathe. There's some other guys, if you listen to him, it sounds bad, doesn't it, Ship?
No doubt.
Oh, they're screaming in the background, and, the guy's trying to call the game. Ship doesn't do that.
So you didn't say anything like make sure you go to the sideline reporter a lot? Like you didn't give him any advice
I
like
push,
that?
I push for Paul. Hey, let's go to Paul often. Hey, let's send it down to Paul.
Well, we will send it down to the post-game interview. Yelda Froholt, and here was his message live after the game. It was a tough locker room. There's no doubt. 45-17, the Cardinals on the wrong end of a lopsided loss, and we asked him for his message because he's a team captain, one of 3 team captains who's not on the injured list out of 7. Here's his message to the rest of the roster.
Stay present, man. It's not just for fun and games. This is a job. This is what we need to do. We need to go out. We need to execute. We ain't got time to not be prepared, to not play hard, to not do these things. The eye in the sky don't lie. So get back into meetings, keep moving forward, and, we're going to stay aggressive. We're going to keep playing hard. We're going to get back into it. We got 4 more opportunities. The most important one's this upcoming week.
Go back to your playing days, guys. Anything you would add to that, especially for the young guys on this roster? Anything you would add?
No, I mean, listen, he's right. It's a job. I mean, I think people lose sight of that. I think it's so easy for you to listen to the fan base. The fan base wants to burn the city down, right? Because you're on this losing streak or you've lost so many games or it was not what expectations were meant to be. And I think the biggest thing is, as a professional, is your job is to go out and do your job to the best of the ability every single week. And so his message is exactly what it should be. It's what the coach's message should be, and it should be, listen, effort is non-negotiable. That will never be something that is negotiable. So that is first things and foremost, non-negotiable. We have to give 100% effort. After that, we show up Wednesday. We go through the process Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we go put our best foot forward on Sunday, and hopefully you right the ship at some point.
For me, Paulie, it's just so easy because it's do your job. That was Bill Belichick. He used to say it over and over and over again, do your job. Bill never tried to motivate anybody. He couldn't motivate people. It's not who he was. The only thing he could do was be himself, and you knew if you didn't go out and do your job, he was going to go find somebody who was going to do the job. It's a job. Do your job. Some people, they come up to me and go, man, is it tough to get up for the game? Is it tough for these guys to get up for a game? And what do you know? As a matter of fact, I'm feeding my family this way. I'm taking care of my family. This is my job.
Yeah, not to mention, I mean, you get 17 opportunities to go out in front of 60 to 90,000 people. There's no other feeling like that. You should never waste any of those opportunities, period.
Calais said it last week. He said anybody who wonders, what am I playing for? What am I doing? Is there anything to play for? Yes. Your job, your livelihood, your reputation, what you're putting on film. And look, every single game is its own entity in the NFL. We know that. But to be a 10-10 game early to mid-second quarter and then the Rams to rip off 35 straight points, it was remarkable in a lot of ways how the momentum just kept building. And here's Jacoby Brissett when being asked about that, what was responsible and culpable for that, and he was just talking about the Cardinals and self-inflicted.
We come back on the sideline and we talk about it after the game, and me and Drew are on on three-way talking to each other about the game. It's just like we had this, and just thinking about talking about the game. Or if we're on the plane, I'm back there watching the game with him, and it's like you kind of a play here from us, a play here from us, a play here from us. Granted, they make plays too, but for the most part, if you take the 15 plays that are deciding factors in the game, and it's 9 of them are on us, you're like, oh my gosh, you got a chance, and that's the encouraging part. It's just now we just got to make it.
What's your main takeaway from that game? Now in hindsight, and I know you've watched the film, AQ, but talk about rushing. For everything that this is a passing league, I mean, when you can't run the ball and you can't stop the run, the Rams go for 249. How big a factor was that?
Anytime you let an opposing team come into your home and run for 250 yards, it's not a good day at the office, right? I think the biggest thing that after watching the film was a lot of it was self-inflicted, right? I think that's the thing. And again, we can sit here and say what we want about young players and injuries and all of these different things, but everybody's going through it. New England's playing with backup left tackle, left guard. Buffalo goes out 2 weeks ago with 2 tackles, that are second-string guys, right? Everybody's dealing with injuries. That's the nature of the NFL at this point in the season. And so young guys got to step up. They got to get the messaging, and they have to execute. And, you know, for me, as I watched it, there was guys, you know, jumping out of gaps. There was missed tackles. There was some certain things going on. And now you got to watch that film. You look yourself in the mirror. You come back to work, and you fix it.
For me, there was the missed tackles really bothered me. It really did. A lot of missed tackles were out on the field, and just watching the Rams line up and run the ball. And, you know, to me, we were using a lot of our 3 safety defense as well against 12 personnel in rundown situation. I really didn't understand the scheme fit that was going on there, but I do know the execution of it was not good in terms of tackling. And I think more than anything else, watching the Rams run the ball, 249 yards, as you said, 6.9 yards per carry. And it felt that way when you watched it.
It's never one thing typically. And to your point, Wolf, Nick Rawls started his press conference. I asked him what stood out from the film, and he said, you know what, I didn't like the plan. I didn't like my plan that I put in place. He took accountability in front of the media forever. Now, was that everything? No. On the 48-yard touchdown run, for example, I don't watch the film, but talking to different guys in that locker room, they'll tell you there was a D lineman who made a mistake, was out of his gap. There was a linebacker who made a mistake, was out of his gap. There was a safety who took a bad angle. So there were 3 different levels of the defense, right? Someone was responsible.
And Corum was untouched.
Yes.
It sounds like you watched the film, because that's exactly what I saw in the film.
I don't watch it. You just talk to a few people here and there. And,
That's right.
And
Yeah,
so,
no doubt.
Is there such a thing as a hangover, AQ? Are you worried about coming off a game like that and going into Houston? And we'll get into the Texans and their top-ranked defense.
I would say no, because I think, you know, coming off the last big loss like this against Seattle, I thought they came out and they responded well. I think this team and the messaging from Coach Gannon, I think they will come out. Will they win? I don't know. But will they play hard? I think absolutely.
All right, stuff someone's stocking with the latest gear from the Cardinals team shop. Pick up the hottest items, including rivalries, merch, and more. Go to azcardinals.com/shop today. We're going to go into the cold tub time machine. We're going to talk about AQ Shipley. We're going to talk about what it's like to be at the bottom of the pile, like every single snap, and what it's like to try and move guys like Vita Vea. He's listed at 347. He's closer to 400, and I got to go against this guy all day for 3 hours. We'll get into that next on the Big Red Race, presented by Emergency Air.
It's loose at the 5, recovered at the 2 by Collins, and he rolls into the end zone for a touchdown. It was Josh Sweat, the newcomer, who knocked it out.
Right up the middle, Josh Sweat caused a fumble, pick it up, touchdown, Zaven Collins.
Ball flutters over the middle, and it's picked off by Barrett Browning at midfield.
What an absolute killer start by this Arizona Cardinals defense.
Hands it off, Connor running left, hit at the goal line, and into the end zone for the touchdown.
Love seeing a big boy in there at fullback. 300 pounds of twisted steel, downhill,
Caught on the goal line, touchdown, Trey McBride.
When you need a touchdown, go to your best player, Trey McBride.
It's intercepted by Nolan at the 5. He gets hit on the goal line, but he got the ball across for the touchdown.
Love seeing a big man touchdown. They brought everybody.
He's hit, he's sacked. It's Calais Campbell who ends the game.
Big Calais Campbell ricochets up through the B gap and makes the big sack to clinch the game for the Cardinals.
Wow.
Heart rate's too high right now, Dave. Didn't need to be.
Welcome to the booth, AQ.
Feel like I'm playing.
That's outstanding. Really well done by our Jim Alejandro going in. And a little montage there of highlights this season, the rookie season for AQ Shipley. There are just announcers who sound like football. And we've got 2 of them on the Big Red Rage, presented by Emergency Air. And we are live from Flanker Kitchen and Sports Bar on the Great Lawn at State Farm Stadium. AQ Shipley, Ron Wolfley, more than 2 decades worth of Cardinals radio analyst up here on the stage. What's your biggest takeaway so far being in the booth? You've done plenty of broadcasting, the McAfee show, and maybe we'll get into some of that a little bit, and you've done other things. What about calling a game live on radio as an analyst?
Well, you just nailed it. Live is the biggest difference, right? Everything I'm doing with McAfee is live, but there is some prep work, right? There's some I'm watching film. I kind of have an idea of where I want to go with what I'm saying. If I'm doing a segment, obviously that's already lined up. I know exactly what I'm doing. This is all call it how you see it, right? And that's the beauty about playing center in the National Football League, too. That's what I loved about it. It was call it how you see it. Hey, they're going to show this, and then all of a sudden they're going to move the safety. Now this linebacker's up on the line of scrimmage, and now we got to go from a rocket call over here to a Louis call over there, sift it over here, and send the back over there, right? So that's the beauty. You guys all understand that, right? Yep.
Well, and that's part of the challenge, right, Wolf? I mean, you guys play.
Yeah.
You guys were the 1%. You were the 99th percentile, and so if you get too deep, you're going to leave behind a significant portion of the audience.
Yes.
So there has to be some infotainment in there, but you also have to give some football 101.
But see, this is what I think Ship does really, really well, is he takes something that is really, really complex and simplifies it and brings it down to the simplest level of being able to understand basically what happened. You don't get too technical. You're right where you should be. And it's a situation where when I listen to Ship, I learned something. I learned something about the schemes. You know, it's been a long time since I've really been involved in some of the schemes when you think about it. Cover 2, back when I was playing, Cover 2, 1985 to 95, it was coached completely different than what Cover 2 is coached today. Because of the RPOs, of course, the zone reads, because of a lot of different things. The spread changed the way you coach Cover 2.
And there's 17 different variations of
Correct,
Cover 2 right now.
correct.
That's the biggest difference in today's game is they've taken everything that was of yesteryear and they've put it on steroids. And that's the beauty of it. But getting back to your point of breaking it down, Matt Hasselbeck, who was a former teammate of mine, played quarterback in the league a long time in Seattle, but he was the backup quarterback when I was in Indianapolis. And he went into the ESPN world afterwards. And when I started doing the stuff on McAfee, he was like, make sure you don't get too in-depth. Describe it like you're describing it to your grandmother and make sure she can understand it. And if she can understand it, everyone will understand it.
And that's what you do really well. And you know what, Ship? That's innate, man. It is. That's innate.
Who helped form that within you in your football career? Are there a couple of football minds, coaches, teammates who have been most influential that you think of? I'm guessing Bruce Arians, obviously, right?
Yeah, Bruce Arians is at the top of that list. Juan Castillo, who just got named
Wow.
O-line coach of Syracuse.
Wow,
You know, he's
Juan Castillo.
Syracuse needs some help. Pash's alma mater. They need help.
Yeah, so he was instrumental in my career because I know when I was with Bruce Arians my rookie year in Pittsburgh, I go to Philadelphia my second year. Juan Castillo is my O-line coach. In my rookie year, my head's spinning. Really didn't understand everything. Didn't understand really how to put all of the concepts and make it understand. The best way to say it is like I was memorizing things and I wasn't understanding like what the concept was. And I went to Juan and he broke it down in a different way where it all of a sudden made sense. And then when I get back to Bruce Arians in my fourth year in Indianapolis, now I'm able to sit there and say, okay, what we did with Juan and the way he broke it down, now this Fox 2 run is now 22 double, right? Like it's just different terminology, but you understand the concept and who has who and break it down that way. And so those are probably the two biggest. Harold Goodwin was my O-line coach for a very long time under Bruce Arians. So I would say those three are probably my three biggest football influences.
So 22 double, 23 double. Is that your favorite play? I mean,
I said it this
do you
week
have
on the
a favorite play?
I said it this week on the McAfee show. I showed a clip of it was 23 double, Denver Broncos running it against the Raiders. I said, best play in football, hands down.
Okay, so the best play, how would you describe the best play to those that are listening right now? Because I've always known 22 and 23 double as the power without the pull.
Yep, that's a great way to. That's an easy way to describe it. I think the other way to say it is three double teams.
Three doubles.
So you're going to have a tight end to the front side, and you're probably going to have an F, which would be also the fullback, right? So tight end and fullback work a double team to this guy, tackle guard double team to this guy, center backside guard double team to this guy. There you go.
And that
That's
was
your
James Conner, man.
That's it.
You're almost an Italian, the way you speak with your hands and all that.
I am. I'm
you
big.
You
I'm a big hand
You need to come to one of my family reunions. It's really
I
good.
need invited.
No, it's good. And it makes sense because we're going to segue into a moment during the Tampa game where you got really fired up about a certain block by Paris Johnson Jr. Roll it.
You mentioned the good block by Harrison. Did you see the block from Paris Johnson Jr.? Gets out, steps down, gets outside. Watch him. Boom! Decleats the corner. I know you guys can't see it. Sorry, I got a little excited when I saw the replay. But Paris Johnson just decleated the corner out in space.
It's okay. You described it well, and we felt your energy. It's
All right,
what
good.
matters. You made us see it, AQ.
All right, good.
Well, not only was that entertaining, but there's got to be moments where you're like, wait a minute, okay, I am doing radio because you're so used to the TV stuff as well, right?
That's probably the biggest challenge when I started this, was because it's so easy for me when I'm on TV to be like, see this. They work there. You guys see what my hand's doing? And I start doing that in the booth, and Omo's like, come on, they can't see you.
Yeah, there's no telestrator.
Yeah, there's no telestrator, so that was the hardest thing.
So the offensive line, Chip, when you look at the offensive line, to me, it just hasn't looked the same to me. This is just my opinion. Over the last couple of years, we're talking about 5 guys, and those 5 guys are largely still with the Arizona Cardinals, and for whatever reason, I don't see those guys playing at the same level as they have in the past. Now listen, you know me. I am a player. I'm a former player. Once a player, always a player.
Agree.
And I'm never going to point a finger at a coach or point a finger at somebody else and say it's your. You know what? You know how to play the game. Go out and do your job. Yet at the same time, I think from week 1, I don't think we've seen the offensive line that we saw the last couple of years. What is your take on this?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I really do. And it was one of my favorite groups to watch. This run game was one of my favorite groups to watch over the last couple of years. And for whatever reason, it's not clicking. I would love to sit there and be like, yep, I got the magic answer.
Yep.
It's that's the reason. But I think it's probably a combination of a multitude of things. And I think it starts with, let me start with not blaming any one in particular on that side of the ball. Let's start with, if you look across the league from week to week, I think you used to see 7 to 10 rushers every week running for 100 yards. This year it's like 3 to 4.
Really?
So running yards across the league are down. I think defenses for so many years over the last couple of years have said, hey, it's a passing league. We're going to play cover 2. We're going to bend but don't break, keep everything in front of us. And so what does cover 2 bring?
Yeah.
Hey, light box. We're going to run the football.
Run
and
it.
so now everybody's running for 5 or 6 yards a carry. Well, the NFL also works in cycles, right? So
Big time.
I think now we're on a new cycle of, hey, we're going to stop the run. We're going to make teams beat us by throwing the football. And so I think there's a point of emphasis on the defensive side to stop the run. And I think I saw that from week 1 all the way through, and that hasn't changed. And I think also, I think you lose your backs. I think you've had some injuries. I think the play is decreased just a little bit across the group, and I'm not putting it on one particular person, but as a group, it is down a little bit. And so I think you take all of those reasons, and I think that's part of it.
Yep.
And if you get behind, you get out of the run. For example, the stat I saw today was the Cardinals, since Jacoby Brissett took over as starter week 6, have the highest passing percentage, run-pass percentage. They have the highest since week 6, nearly 69% of the plays have been to the air.
To me, you can actually see it. I mean, you got Jacoby Brissett throwing the ball, and he does a great job. He checks it. If you watch him on the check down, he rarely checks down, but when he does, it's there for a reason. The check down is there for a reason. You could see Jacoby Brissett, his eyes immediately go down the field. He's looking to throw the ball down the field. It's something I really do appreciate from Jacoby Brissett, and he checks it down when you need to check it down.
Speaking of being there, how about the Christmas decorations at the Shipley house? Are they still there? Because we had the episode around Halloween.
They are definitely there.
Okay.
And they are live. I mean, they are. It's borderline Griswold's Christmas at my house right now. I mean, I go all out for all the holidays. I have a storage unit just for Halloween and Christmas decor.
No, come on.
Not kidding.
I hope my wife isn't listening right now.
Yeah, sorry.
Because
hope I didn't get anyone in trouble.
We don't.
Yeah, the Warrior Queen is big on that, too.
Yeah,
You can tell what time of year it is. Is it summer? Is it fall? Is it Christmas time, Paulie?
For those who missed it, by the way, your Halloween decorations, 12-foot skeletons went missing. An APB was put out in the McAfee show, and within 24 hours?
Yeah, I think it was more like 2 hours.
2 hours.
2 hours later, put back up. Apologized to my wife. My wife made them do push-ups in the street, and they said to my kids that you should never steal. So it was a win all around.
Frat boys from ASU. The Big Red Rage continues live from Flanker Kitchen and Sports Bar on the Great Lawn at State Farm Stadium.
Wilson wide right. Brissett back to throw. Fires near side. Caught by Wilson. A touchdown. What a start for the Cardinals. 6-0 less than 3 minutes in. Incredible start from the Cardinals right there. Jacoby Brissett to Michael Wilson on a little corner route for the touchdown. Wide open. Unbelievable start for the Cardinals. Michael Wilson back as the #1 receiver, and he looks like it again. Brissett in the gun has the ball. Back to throw. Throws a fade left side into the end zone. It is caught, and it is a touchdown for Michael Wilson. That is Wilson's second of the day. He continues to amaze when given the opportunity to be that go-to guy for Jacoby Brissett.
As wide receiver one, he's been number one in the NFL. Let that hang for a minute. Since week 11, Michael Wilson leads the NFL in catches and receiving yards, 39 for 481. Think about this. Michael Wilson is the first Cardinals player with 10-plus catches in a game, 140-plus yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns since Larry Fitzgerald in 2007.
Wow.
So it is real, and it is spectacular. The Big Red Rage presented by Emergency Air, live at Flanker Kitchen and Sports Bar on the Great Lawn at State Farm Stadium. Ron Wolfley there. Paul Calvisi here. AQ Shipley is our very special guest. So I'm gonna hit you with this, AQ. True or false? Michael Wilson is a legit wide receiver one. The Arizona Cardinals might have 2 wide receiver ones on their hand.
I think he's been fantastic, and my voice is about to go because there we go. All right, I think I'm back. So, Michael Wilson's been fantastic. He is proving that not only is he deserving of more targets, but he is very capable of being a number one. I love everything that I watch from him. The confidence that I see from him is growing week to week in the way that he catches the football. And I think that's one of the biggest things that you take away when you watch him, because I go back to when I used to watch Larry Fitzgerald. Everything was catching the football out in front of his body. And sometimes you watch receivers in today's game and they're constantly catching the ball with their body. When he is feeling it, everything is like this, out in front of him, and you can see the confidence.
You know, for me, once again, he's getting the opportunity. He's getting the opportunity to go out and be targeted to the degree in which he has been. Also, too, I would say this, Jacoby Brissett is more old school. He's more old school in terms of the schemes that they're running and some of the route combinations that they're running as well. He's pretty much old school. You know what it takes for an old school wide receiver and a quarterback to be on the same page? A smart wide receiver. And Michael Wilson is really, really smart, excellent at reading coverage. You got to be on the same page as what the quarterback is seeing. They're called read routes. And in this new age, they didn't have as many read routes. They really didn't. But the old school, Paulie, the old school passing game has a lot of read routes. And I think because of that, Michael Wilson has really, really developed.
I went around the locker room a couple weeks ago. I said, you want to know about a wide receiver? Ask DBs. And I did a little power poll on the side. What do you think? You know, is it legit? Is this a fluke? And guys just said, no, he's that good. He said, and don't dismiss all the work he's put in. He's one of the first guys in here every single day. He's always doing a lot of extra stuff. You see it after practice. He's with Jacoby Brissett. And to your point, Wolf, he knows.
He's got to be watching tape as well.
He knows how to break off routes, when, how to stay in sync with. In fact, we had asked Jonathan Gannon, about Michael Wilson thriving in that wide receiver one role on his TV show, Cardinals Game Plan.
With Marv being out the last couple of weeks, he's really stepped into that role, and he's getting a lot of targets, but he's getting a lot of targets because he's winning at a high level. You know, he really is. He's putting the ball in the end zone. He's scoring points. He's winning on third down. He's generating explosives. So he's going to keep doing what he's doing, and he'll keep ascending.
I mean, think about it. He got 18 targets, then he got 15 targets. He just got 16 targets. What is the upside? What sort of potential does he still have in it? What sort of sustainability do you think he has? What are we seeing here, and where is it going, AQ?
I think he's going to be a superstar. I really do, whether it's here or whether it's somewhere else. Like, I think you got to find a way to keep him and make him a priority, because I think there's plenty of balls to go around when Marvin Harrison Jr. is healthy. Obviously, what Trey McBride's doing, that's a three-headed monster that no other team in the league could have. And what he's able to do, and with how big all of them are,
I know.
That's what's amazing.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of size to him. I love that. A little get off me as well. You know what I mean? And again, he's very, very smart. Yet at the same time, you're talking about a guy that is growing in leaps and bounds in confidence. Now listen, I know everyone says to me, Wolf, what are you talking about? These guys are in the National Football League. These guys are confident guys. Of course, listen, he's been given the opportunity to go out and show that he belongs in the NFL, and he's a top-tier wide receiver, and he has delivered. Don't tell me that doesn't give him more confidence right now in saying, you know what? When the shadows are creeping at night and it's 2:30 in the morning and you look up and you're awake and you're thinking about your job and you say to yourself, I can do this, man. There's a whole different level that you get to. And I think we're seeing that with Michael Wilson right now.
Confidence is everything in the NFL.
It is.
I'm telling you, like, there's so many guys that are top 5 picks and they lose their confidence, then all of a sudden their level of play goes off a cliff. There's so many guys that are 7th-round picks, and you just instill just a little bit of confidence, and all of a sudden they play like first-rounders.
I had an old coach that used to say confidence is the currency of competition.
That's right.
You buy and sell performances based on your confidence level. That's what he said.
And how do you get 18 targets in a game when you earn the confidence from your quarterback, right? Here's Jacoby Brissett on that.
With Marv being out the last couple weeks, he's really stepped into that role, and he's getting a lot of targets, but he's getting a lot of targets because he's winning at a high level. You know, he really is. He's putting the ball in the end zone. He's scoring points. He's winning on 3rd down. He's generating explosives. So he's going to keep doing what he's doing, and he'll keep ascending.
All right, there you go. Jonathan Gannon, weird it for the second time, but we get the point. And I've asked Jacoby a number of times that, you know, when he sees, it's to the point now, and he said as much, if he sees Michael Wilson one-on-one, he's open. Those are the elite receivers. Even if they're covered, they're open. Throw him the ball.
That was Larry.
You know, and he's got athleticism, you know, sort of like AQ, like maybe like you know, back in the basketball days, right? I mean, if Charles Barkley was the round mound to rebound, you know, you must have been the round mound, you know, there in the paint, right? I mean, you know, boom, you got to establish your position downfield.
You got to learn how to use your body. And I think these guys, well, obviously I knew how to. I mean, as
Sure.
wide as I am tall, so I had to learn that at an early age, especially playing basketball. But, I mean, when you look at what Michael Wilson does, again, it's the contested catches. It's the 50-50 balls. It's the ones down, you know, down the field where maybe it's a little bit underthrown, but you allow him to go up and make a play. It's all of these things, and that's how you generate chunks. That's how you generate explosives, because you give the receiver a chance with how big these guys are, with how strong their hands are. Just give them a chance. Put it down the field. Let them go up and make a play, and guess what? If it doesn't, then there's still an opportunity for a pass interference, or if it doesn't, you live to fight another
That's
down,
right.
and you go to the next one, and you try it again.
You know, also, too, you got to remember, most defensive coordinators, I don't want to say all of them, but most defensive coordinators, when they come in to play the Arizona Cardinals, they're thinking, how are we going to take away Trey McBride?
Yep.
How are we going to take him away? What are we going to do to take him away? What is our plan to take care of Trey McBride? And I think that also helps a guy like Michael Wilson at this point in time. I think that gives him a little bit of responsibility and a little bit of freedom as well, because they're so focused on taking away Trey McBride. Now it becomes a little bit more difficult. Michael Wilson, it's going to be interesting to see what defensive coordinators are going to be willing to do to Michael Wilson going forward, knowing he's getting targeted to the degree that he is, and he's producing to the level he is.
And Trey confirmed for us yesterday after he had the 2 chunk catches in the opening drive that went 5 plays, 67 yards, ended up in the end zone to Michael Wilson, but he had the 2 key plays downfield. He said, yep, the defense changed on me the rest of the game. I didn't get another chunk play the rest of the game because they changed, but he's still tied for the league leading catches with 93. What have you seen out of Trey McBride this year? And you heard the coach at the end of the Tampa game come up to him and say, you know what, you're a gigantic pain in the bleep, and just how problematic he is for a defense.
To me, he's the heart and soul of that offense. I really believe that. I watch how hard he plays. He reminds me of when I went to Tampa and I got to watch how hard Rob Gronkowski practiced, and obviously the way he played the game. I mean, that's what you're getting with Trey McBride. He's obviously not as big as Gronk, but he
got a little swag.
He's
too.
got swag. I mean, he blocks, he fights, you see him doubled over in the huddle. You can tell he's giving it his all on every single play. When he's tired, he's not tapping his helmet and checking himself out like you see far too often across this league. And he's constantly in there. He's constantly pushing and fighting through, whether it's a big shot over the middle. And he just brings so much to this team. And he's so good at football. He really is. And I think, but it's more the other intangibles outside of what he brings football-wise, the juice, the energy that he brings to that offense.
And, you know, Paulie, I just want to jump in and say this, and you know I love Trey McBride, right? I love this guy. I love the fact that he wants to block, that he's trying to block, and he does work at that and cares about doing that. And I also love his accountability. Against the Tampa Bay Bucks, when that 4th and 1 was called, he cracked down on the block, and you know what? He missed the block. He didn't get it done. And for Trey, it looked like he felt like he had already done his job and then
Right.
came off it. And he was accountable after the game and called himself out on it. That's why that kid is going to be a great player.
It's funny you name drop Gronk because he did a national media tour this morning. I heard one of the interviews, and the question was, what hurts now after your playing career? I pose that question to you, AQ Shipley and Ron Wolfley. After your playing career, what hurt? And his answer was, you know what, if I keep up with my workouts and my sleep, he said, I feel pretty good. He said, but if I get behind on workouts and sleep, he said, oh, everything starts to hurt. But is there, after you guys both played more than 10 years in the league and how many collisions, right? What doesn't feel as good permanently? Any sort of permanent damage these days?
Well, here's what I do know is as you know, I'm a big pickleball player these days. And so,
Pickleball.
Oh, no.
let me tell you.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, after today, by the way, I played 2.5 hours of pickleball. I got another match tomorrow morning, 8:45.
Sounds like it's high stakes tomorrow.
Well, I mean, I'm going to have to get up and get in the hot tub.
Okay.
I'm going to have to really stretch tomorrow morning. I'm telling you, these little nagging injuries are adding up the older I'm getting right now.
All
yeah,
right.
for me, Paulie, metaphorically speaking, I feel like a boil. Have you ever seen a boil,
Oh,
Paul,
no.
and it's
Oh,
just
boy.
oozing? Stuff is
Okay.
oozing on
It's
the boil.
dinner time, Wolf.
I
Enjoy
just
your
kinda
guys'
feel
food
like
on that
I'm
one.
just, I'm sorry about that, folks. I'm just telling you right now, Paul. I had the inflammation. I can feel it.
Back to pickleball. Drew Stanton, Larry Fitzgerald, AQ Shipley. What's the power poll of pickleball players there if you had to rank them?
Ooh.
How would that go?
I feel real good about where Drew and I are. Well,
Yeah.
I'd love to see Larry on a pickleball court right now. By the way, I'm playing with
Wow.
Drew Stanton tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So,
All right.
So we got a nice little match lined up.
All right.
Yeah.
That
But
is-
Larry, if you hear this, I'd love to see you on the courts.
Wow, how about that? Fitz getting
I don't
called
know.
out on that. Yeah, I'd love to
That's,
see him on the courts.
okay.
Pickleball.
Jim
Get
Owen.
jacked up
Fitz is
when
too
you
busy
play
with
it.
business right now. He's starting to look like an offensive lineman these days. He's putting a few pounds on.
Okay.
I'm starting to lose the weight. I mean, it's like a sliding scale right now.
Wow, now
Oh,
it got
it sounds
extremely
like
real.
the locker room. Once
Adrian
again.
Wilson piled on, and now AQ adding to Larry. Okay, Bird Gang, make sure you vote for your favorite Cardinals. Send them to the Pro Bowl. Go to azcardinals.com/Pro Bowl. azcardinals.com/Pro Bowl. That's where you go. And by the way, Paris Johnson Jr. leading the fan vote right now in the NFC among tackles. Josh Sweat is number 3. Calais Campbell is in the top 5 as well. So Trey McBride, number 2. So we'll see. Might get some good representation on that. Oh boy, we're going to talk about the Houston Texans and that top-ranked defense next. The Big Red Rage at Flanker Kitchen and Sports Bar on the Great Lawn at State Farm Stadium.
From the shotgun is Darnold. He'll throw from his goal line. Pressure coming. Backs into the end zone. He's in trouble. The ball is out of the end zone. Will Anderson with the strip and the recovery. It's a Houston touchdown. What a turn of events. Darnold in the end zone has it ripped out of his hands, and Will Anderson grabs it for a Houston touchdown.
That is an outstanding choice of highlight because it happened at Seattle in front of the 12s. The forced fumble and the touchdown. We're talking the number 1 defense in the NFL, number 1 in scoring D, number 1 in total D. They are top 5 in takeaways. Just crazy stats. In fact, you guys can go get a beer here at Flanker Kitchen and Sports Bar on the Great Lawn at State Farm Stadium. It's the Big Red Rage presented by Emergency Air. Ron Wolfley, Hugh Shipley, and yours truly, Paul Calvisi, because I can just give you stats and factoids on this Houston D all day long. I'll just give you one right here. They have more interceptions than they have passing touchdowns allowed. And
That sums it up, Paulie.
3 of their DBs are in the top 6 in the league in passer rating allowed. And I'm guessing that has a lot to do, gentlemen, with the pass rush, right?
No doubt.
I mean, that's a DB's best friend when you have Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. coming off the edges.
There's no doubt about it, Paulie. And also, too, guys, I'm big on the defensive quarterback rating. You know this, Paulie. I'm
Yep.
really big on that because quarterback rating, for the most part, in the National Football League, why is it that the top 10 quarterbacks year after year, typically the best quarterbacks in the league are there in the top 10 for quarterback rating? Why is that? It's because it's a human being that's playing the quarterback position at a very high level. That's why the best quarterbacks typically are in the top 10 in the NFL. So if you flip it over and you look at it defensively, what is your defensive quarterback rating? It makes a lot of sense to me. And you look at their defensive quarterback rating. Number 1 in the National Football League, 69.8. That's what they give up as a quarterback rating. And by the way, the last 3 games where they faced maybe future Hall of Fame quarterbacks, 60.8 is the quarterback rating they've given up. Unbelievable.
All I know, in the last month, they've gone against Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and combined 0 touchdowns, 5 picks.
There it is.
So, all right, EQ, here's Jonathan Gannon. What stands out about Will Anderson Jr., and then we'll get your take.
Elite intangibles. That's what I remember. The first thing that stands out with him, elite intangibles. When you hear Coach Saban talk about him, like he doesn't talk about many guys like that. And then obviously just the skill set. You know, I mean, he's powerful, he's explosive, he's smart, he knows how to play the game, he knows how to set up things. And that's just rushing the pass. And then he's very ball aware, he takes the ball away. And then in the run game, when you watch the run game, it's very impressive.
Yeah, he's third in quarterback pressures behind Micah Parsons and Aiden Hutchinson, Will Anderson Jr. So
he's phenomenal. He really is. When you turn on the tape and you see Will Anderson and what he's become, I don't think a lot of – I mean, obviously he went number 2 overall, so they thought that. But, like, when I was breaking down that draft, I thought he was going to be Brandon Graham. And Brandon Graham was a great pro.
Yeah.
Played forever.
Yep.
Really good defensive end for the Philadelphia Eagles, but he's never going to be that 10-plus sack a year guy. He's 10-plus sack a year guy. He's great in the run. And then you got the guy on the other side, Daniil Hunter, who's an absolute freakazoid, who has made offensive tackles look silly for years. And like I said earlier this week, it's like, if you don't know who this guy is, just Google him, because he looks like an avatar out there. He's built like a Madden creative player. He's 6'7". He's 275 pounds. He's the most athletic guy on the field. He's got arms like he's a Greek god. And, oh, by the way, he runs a 4.5 40, and he's got 40-inch arms. Good luck. Good luck. I mean, I had to play against this guy, and I remember the first time I had to do, we played Minnesota here when he was playing for Minnesota. I was with the Cardinals in that 2015 game that we won on Thursday Night Football. And I had to pull across and kick him out. I remember after the play, like, looking up like, I don't know if I'm still built for this. If guys are going to start looking like this, I don't know how much more.
You know, it's incredible about this defense, Paulie, too. I just want to jump in here. D'Amico Ryans does a great job. Matt Burke is a defensive coordinator, of course, right? And D'Amico Ryans a defensive-minded guy. But they're in zone cover 80% of the time, over 80% of the time, as a matter of fact. They're in zone, and they like to close more times than not the middle of the field. They like to do that as well. But the reason why they're playing as much zone as they're playing is because they can get pressure on a quarterback with 4.
That's it.
Bring 4, get pressure on him, and now all of a sudden throw it to us, and we're going to play zone cover. That's what they have some really good DBs, Paulie, really good corners as well. You're going to throw us the ball, and that's why we're going to play an awful lot of zone, and that's why they're number 3 in interception rate in the National Football League. The Texans know how to turn you over.
It's interesting because they do have the dudes to play man. I mean, Derek Stingley Jr. is first-team All-Pro.
Yeah, Derek Stingley Jr. He might be the best corner in football. Petry's unbelievable. They're taking the ball away left and right. Every time you turn around, they're getting a tip and an overthrow.
Kamari Lassiter.
Lassiter's unbelievable. He's become fantastic. So they got guys everywhere. Their linebacking core is really good. And Al Shahir, I think is how you pronounce his name, came from the 49ers.
To'o.
But then we mentioned the edge guys, but then they got Danico Autry on the interior playing 3 technique. I mean, they got guys everywhere. They really do, Paul. This is going to be a tough matchup.
So is it max protect? Real quick, is it max protect all game?
Well, if you're only going to rush 4, you got to figure out a way. You're always going to have an extra guy. There's 5 linemen, right? So if you can somehow send a back one way, send the line one way, you can get a chip with a tight end, a chip with a back. Now you're basically getting 6 on 4. You should be able to block these guys a little bit.
You're such a center.
Come on. Special thanks, as always, Jim Alejandro, Cody Fincher, Walt Ellis, Lawrence Ellis, Matt Lazarus. For AQ Shipley, everyone, how about it?
Yeah.
From one generation of Cardinals radio analyst to the next, Ron Wolfley, I'm Paul Calvisi. This has been the Big Red Rage, presented by Emergency Air. We are live on Thursdays at Flanker Kitchen and Sports Bar on the Great Lawn at State Farm Stadium, the original Thursday Night Football.
Chaw!